Hey guys, it's Family Guy Theory here, back with another video. And I was watching my favorite show, with the good old fashioned values of which we used to rely, which we do now know what happened to those values. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about Stewie. Now, specifically, one part of Stewie, and that is the one episode where, Brian screwing everything up as usual, as he does. And, Stewie is turned into a gremlin. He's around, he's making a mess. And Brian, just screwing everything up as he does. That's what he does. It's classic Brian fashion. And Brian, there's a call on Stewie's screen, with his general. He's still yelling for Stewie. He wants Stewie. He wants Stewie's attention. Now, Brian, of course, is saying, no, Stewie. Stewie's not here. And the thing that got me was, well, what did this guy want? What did he want? I believe he wanted Stewie because he wanted to rekindle. Here's what I mean. I think him and Stewie had a very bad falling out at some point. Perhaps it was over who got to keep Stewie's teddy bear, or, it could be something very serious, or it could have been something very, very small. But I believe he was desperately calling out to Stewie because he wanted to rekindle the relationship with Stewie. He knew he hurt Stewie at some point. He knew Stewie was hurt by what he did. So it begs the question, how badly did he hurt Stewie? And I think it was bad enough that Stewie didn't want to speak to him. Stewie refused to speak to him. And I think part of that is he hurt Stewie bad enough, and maybe, I believe, it had been some years since they spoke, and, the general, he never really got over it. It never really left his thoughts of how badly Stewie was hurt. And I think part of that is, he's calling out to Stewie. He's calling out to his old friend, his old pal, and because he's finally realized after all these years he hurt Stewie deep down. So that's why when he calls out Stewie so desperately, he's realized suddenly what he did to Stewie, that how much he affected Stewie, and he's calling out because he wants to have that talk with Stewie. He wants to have that conversation of wanting to start over, to start again, and to apologize to him. I think that's why, despite Brian saying Stewie wasn't there, no Stewie, he kept calling Stewie. He kept calling to his pal because he knew somewhere out there Stewie was listening, and that Stewie could hear him. And he wanted to make sure Stewie knew that he still cared about him, that he still cared about Stewie, and that he never forgot about him, and that he never he never stopped thinking about Stewie. And I think that's not just him calling out to Stewie like that. That wasn't just him calling. That was the mental state he was in, all the time. That was what he was thinking about. That was what was plaguing his thoughts 24/7, to the point where it was affecting his daily life. Where, he would wake up in the morning and all he could think about was Stewie, and it happened all those years ago. But what did happen? I think there could be many things that happened. I think there could be a number of things, whether it was many small things that built up to one big crash, and all their years of friendship gone, or maybe it was one thing that was bad enough that they stopped talking to each other, and I think that says a lot about the man on the screen. But I also think it says a lot about Family Guy, and that maybe the good old fashioned values aren't gone just yet. Maybe Joe hasn't fully succeeded yet. So that's my video. Make sure to like and subscribe, or I will put silly string in your heaters.